Hi friends, today I wanted to discuss about the book review of The Palace of Election by Chitra Banerjee Divakurani. So the book, it was suggested by one of my colleagues, and she said it's a different perspective of Mahabharata. And I've read many versions of Mahabharata. I've come across versions from the perspective of Bhima, from the perspective of Arjuna. In Kannada literature, you have this Vikramarjuna Vijayam. Then Bhima's perspective is also there. So they have written on their perspectives, but from a woman's perspective and a woman writing it, the Palace of Election is an excellent book, and you understand the dynamics that goes on within the woman's mind, as well as the challenges that they have. So this is a perspective from the viewpoint of Draupadi, the entire events of uh, the Mahabharata, including our birth from fire, where along with Drishtadyumana, Draupadi also comes from the fire. So she calls him as Dhriti in this book throughout, and she is very fond of him because even when she's scared, when she's about to come from the fire after the yagna, so Dhriti is the person who holds her hand. From birth, she is cursed, even though she is dark, she is very pretty. And the initial part of the novel, you can just assess the inferiority complex that she has because she is dark. And but later, she develops that perspective of being happy with what she is, and she carries herself in a royal and regal way. So you could also note that many of her activities, she's a rebel from the beginning. She doesn't want to stick on to the uh, rules and regulations that are imposed on women folk during those days. So you could also notice that she rebels against Daima, that is her attender who takes care of her. And she's the only person who understands the pain that she goes through. From a very young child, so she is destined to be one of the reasons for the big war, and his brother is destined to kill Dronacharya. So this is what is the reason for their birth. So she's fed with these stories, even though she doesn't have that. Subconsciously, they develop this, that they are born with a purpose. So as she grows up, and there is a Swayamvara arranged for her, and you can see that Draupadi has a big crush and love for Karna. But she also has a huge respect and devotion for Krishna. And as per the elders' wishes and Krishna, she rejects the proposal, even though he was the most eligible person to get married to. So you also learn the Draupadi's perspective of how she realizes quite early that Karna is the elder brother of the Pandavas during the battle, but she keeps silent over this issue and doesn't speak about it. And throughout her life, she has that unwavering love for Karna, even though she humiliates him at many instances, more because he would have humiliated her. But they have that mutual respect for each other. And she knows that Karna is quite different from the other Pandavas she has married. And that is also one of the reasons for her to fall from the hill for the first time when they are all making their final travel to the heavens, and only Yudhishthira successfully reaches heaven in his mortal body, whereas the first person to fall is Draupadi. So Draupadi is a victim of many things, and even though Vyasa reveals her destiny and he warns her about certain things, so she cannot go against those destined events that she has to face. Always, I believe that Mahabharata is such a wonderful novel, one of the best novels where many intricate characters are there, the value systems that they have, their beliefs, their priorities that change. And you can also see Draupadi's perspective of Uttara, then Draupadi's perspective of Shikandi, who is also her brother. So all these perspectives from a woman's viewpoint, and there is also conflict between Kunti and Draupadi at many places to establish supremacy over there. Kunti over her sons and Draupadi over her husbands. So many times Draupadi's words are given a priority for. And in this story, you can also understand that Draupadi sympathizes with Bhima for having that unwavering affection and dropping out all the ideals only for meeting the demands of Draupadi. No other husband of her would be willing to do so. And even she unwillingly marries five of the Pandavas as per the wish of Kunti. So you see the politics behind her marriage, even though she's not happy to get married to all five of them, and she would prefer rather, if not Karna, she would have preferred Arjuna as a sole husband. But then the mutual respect of the brothers for each other, and she understands that each and every one of them is a different individual and unique in their own ways. But she always has a crush and huge love and respect for Karna, which can never be replaced by any person or any of her husbands. So these are things that you come across. And before the war, and the especially the scene where she is used as a bet, uh, and Duryodhana wins, and she becomes a slave for the Kauravas, and how she is humiliated, and when her humiliation is stopped by Krishna's timely intervention through the extended sari that he provides. So all these are scenes where you understand the woman's perspective, like Draupadi, what she underwent during those trials and tribulations. And she was very happy with the title of the story itself is the Palace of Election, the Indraprastha that they build. It is physically a palace of election, not only literally. And she has a huge attachment to the home, even though Vyasa and others say that that attachment is not required. She has that, but ultimately she loses because of Yudhishthira's gambling habits. So that is also one of the losses that she faces. At the end of the battle, it's not that they are completely victorious. Rather, Draupadi loses all her children, and she is also helpless. And just like others, she is also filled with sadness and plight. So these are events that are written from the perspective of Draupadi. And I would suggest that it's a must read for all of you who would like to know a woman's perspective. So the lack of literature having a woman's perspective uh, is one of the hindrance. I hope many of the writers, women writers, put forth their thoughts and views straightforward, and how many times they are victims of circumstances, and rather they would have done quite differently if those circumstances were not there. That is what is the takeaway that I get from this novel, The Palace of Elections. So read it, and if you have liked this book review, like and subscribe for my channel. Thank you.